You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's 7 on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you on the Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. And we all go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up and let's go. Alrighty. I'll prepare the documents for you to take back to your chief. 10 copies should suffice. I don't see any need for more, as I doubt he'd send enough merchants to wield them anyway. 10 is good. Again, my wolf nods as the magistrate empties his glass. Good. Realizing I've been quite tardy with my drink, I decide to do the same, although it seems a shame to guzzle such a good vintage in a single go. I rub my lips clean as I return the glass to a silver tray beside the carafe on the table, and the magistrate walks up to the silken cord. I guess this means our business is done. He tugs at it, and the door behind us creak open once again. Give my regards to Varric. I might dislike your kind on a whole, but your father is the least disagreeable wolf I've met. You and he meet? Ranok seems taken aback. We did. Twice, in fact. You look quite like him, at least before he'd gotten fat. Tell him he owes me a rematch. You fight? Now even I'm surprised, but the magistrate laughs it off, waving his hand in amusement. No, he beat me in a round of chess 20 years ago. I consider myself something of a champion in that game, so such a slight cannot stand. Oh. Ranok seems disappointed that it wasn't a contact sport, and almost makes me laugh. Considering the whispers reaching me from your woods, I wouldn't be surprised if we meet again. I'll be taking a great interest in you, my pig-skinned friend. A very close interest indeed. The tiger nods in my direction. I smile back at him. Eventually, we take another bow as we slowly retreat from the chamber. Just as we're about to cross the threshold, the magistrate's voice echoes across the room. Oh, and another thing. Tell your father that next time he wants to treat with me, he can send the human instead. I don't want to see that insolent brown wolf ever again. Guests should know when they wear out their welcome. He calls out in a mix of a jest and genuine complaint. Before any of us can respond, he's tugging at the cord again and the door begins to shut. Our way out of the town hall is awkward, to say the least. I'm still unsure if I haven't overstepped any boundaries while Ranok is buried deep in thought. True, I might have taken the reins of the negotiation, but considering his attitude and language barrier, what else was I supposed to do? Still, I guess I can understand his ire to a degree. It was his mission, after all. Why did you tell him about Vortigern? He finally breaks the silence, muttering disapprovingly and causing me to twitch, but only for a moment. I was kinda expecting this, so I take a deep sigh and simply look him in the eye. Honesty can go a long way in building up a relation, while it costs us nothing. If the leatherworker knows, you think he wouldn't? I suspected that the magistrate would be aware of Vortigern's shenanigans, so telling him as much didn't reveal anything of value. The wolf looks ahead, still mulling over the whole situation. We stay like this for as long as it takes to clear the marbled staircase. I don't like him. He's a snide tiger. He seemed fine to me. That's because you grovel. Tigers always love a good grovel. He almost sounds accusatory, and I rest my hands on my hips. I wouldn't say I groveled. I just showed deference to someone above my station. With that kind of mindset, everyone would prove to be above your station. His slightly grumpy expression and irritated tone make me smile and shake my head. When you talk like that, I'm tempted to slap your ears. Take it as you will, but it's true. One must assert his place in life. That's just woven posturing again. I shrug as we finally enter the lobby. We fall silent for a moment, approaching the front desk, but just as we're about to address the secretary, a whistling sound draws our collective attention. She walks to the back wall and uncorks what looks like a pipe stretching all the way towards the ceiling. Yes, Your Excellency. The female puts her muzzle against the opening and leans in her ear. What in the... It's a speaking tube. I conclude in amazement as we watch the tigress listen to an unintelligible voice coming down the pipe. Of course. Understood, Your Excellency. She plugs the tube again and returns to face us. The Lord Magistrate will have your documentation prepared. You'll be able to collect it from this very desk at the end of the day. Also, here are your weapons. The secretary says with a polite tone, struggling to plop Ranok's 2 swords and a pauldron on the desk. Once they clank against the wooden counter, the wolf begins to dress up, while I nod in gratitude. Thank you. We proceed towards the exit while Ranok shakes his head in disapproval. Take talking tubes. They're crazy, those tigers. I barely contain a chuckle. He's really struggling to find himself in this new place. Although not exactly modern by my standards, certain gadgets those tigers enjoy must also feel like science fiction to him. Once we step out onto the vibrant street, I sigh and relax, simply relishing the afternoon stroll. Although I do like Tiernan being in a lively place such as this tugs at some long-lost memories. It feels like It feels right to be here, regardless how badly Rannoch might not enjoy it. Seeing that the wolf continues to sulk, I look to him with an apologetic smile. Look, I'm sorry if you're not happy about the way this went down, but diplomacy requires tact, something your people clearly lack if what the magistrate said is true. Exactly. You'll trust a word of a tiger over my own. Your word is neither here nor there, as you didn't witness what happened. From what the magistrate says, Vithir's stay in Strandbard wasn't as successful as we were led to believe. Vithir is my father's advisor for a reason. He mutters defensively and I nod. Yes, and that begins to rub me the wrong way. He's a trusted friend. He's almost like a second father to me. Rennick continues, slight offense lining his tone. Look, I'm not trying to imply anything. All I'm saying is that there are two sides to the story. I know you dislike the Tigers and distrust anything they say, but consider this. Vithir was here for several years. Why? What did he actually achieve? I don't know. Again, he grumbles in that now recognizable moody fashion whenever he doesn't like the turn of our conversations take. Exactly. Neither did the magistrate. As he said, the trade embargo was in place for 2 decades, and the relations didn't improve at all either. In fact, he seems to have much fonder memories of your father than he does of his envoy. The wolf ponders, and I regain my hope I might just be getting through to him. I rest my hand on his shoulder, tugging at it to add weight to my words. You're going to be a chief one day. You need to be able to look at things from a wider perspective. I'm not saying Vithir is a bad person, but I don't think he's a good advisor either. And what are you basing this on? His diplomacy, for one. I shrug. It was a farce, and the tribe hasn't changed one bit either. I'm not talking about laws and customs, but look around you. He spent several years here and he didn't bring any of this back to Tiernan? I spread my hands in partial jest, pointing to the bustling town all around us. What, pretty horses and cobbled streets? Scoff all you like, but yes, the quality of life is immensely different. Your people are being left further and further behind. You said you wanted to travel the world to see what it has to offer so that you could become a better chief. Well, he has traveled. Rannoch looks at me now more intently, listening carefully to what I say. He saw what the world had to offer, and he didn't help your father be better. In fact, the only thing that got better is his purse, while he and the chief drink and smoke their lives away. When you were gone, I had a chance to get out and about. The wolves talk about him almost as if he owned the tribe. He is quite rich. Finally, the wolf's voice betrays a hint of concern. Well, I don't think that it was always the case. Something tells me he got his fortune during the tenure as your father's advisor. You know what? I'll trust your instinct even if I don't agree with it. He looks at me with a wavering smile. When we get back, I'll look into this. I promise. But subtly. I tease and Rannoch rolls his eyes. Of course, subtly. I'm not about to poke a hornet's nest. No wolf likes when others sniff around their business, no more so than Vithir. But enough of that. I'd like us to unwind before what comes next. He waves his paw and I laugh in agreement. Well, this is a day and a half. I yawn, stretching myself idly as we stroll down on one of the streets leading away from the town hall. Indeed. The wolf nods, looking at me with growing humor. You've earned another treat. And an apology. I scoff teasingly, bumping into his shoulder. Told you I would come in hand. That you did. The wolf laughs, and I can't help but puff my cheeks in feigned annoyance. Your tigeree's awful. I hope you know that. My apologies, then, my lord, for being born in the sticks. He takes a deep, exaggerated bow, and I nudge him in his rump, causing the wolf to run a few paces forward to avoid falling flat on his muzzle. Dickhead. I call out as we both chuckle in amusement. So, where are we headed? To the strand and to the stranded barred end. To the strand barred end? Really? I nearly gasp out in excitement. And they'll let us in? I thought you said this was like a pilgrimage site for bards, very hard to get into. It is, but it's also an inn. He shrugs coyly, and I feel slightly suspicious, but for now I won't read too much into it. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to hear someone sing. Yeah, you think you would, until you will. Then you do anything for them to shut up. The wolf snickers, and I shake my head. Be nice, don't ruin this for me. Right this way. He waves his paw, making me follow him into one of the side paths leading away from the main road. At first I'm confused, but I brush it off to Rannoch finding some sort of a shortcut from the main square leading through several blocks of townhouses. I enjoy this little detour as we're both out of the sun in the pleasantly cool shade, but also I get to admire the backyards of those amazingly old-timey buildings. They're tall, 3 and even 4 stories high, with their wooden frames climbing high like giant ladders. It's also fantastical, almost as if from a fairy tale. Then again, everything so far seems like a damn fairy tale. In one of the courtyards, we pass a group of tiny tiger cubs playing around an open well. I collect small pebbles and drop them down, listening on to hear the plume of the water once the stone hits the surface, each time jumping up and down with cheer. I chuckle at this innocent sight, and that's what draws their attention. At first they seem weary seeing Ranok, most likely scared both of his size and his massive sword, but once they see me, their expression changes to that of awe and curiosity. It's a human? A human? What's that? The little murmurs echo against the towering walls of the townhouses, and I shake my head in amusement. We come to a stop, and a little tiger girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old, approaches a few steps and fidgets on her cute little paws. Hey, mister, my friend says you're a human. Is that true? I smile at her kindly, looking back through Ranok's confused muzzle and then back to her inquisitive eyes. Why, yes I am. Why do you ask? Because humans are magic like the Elfkin. Elfkin? I chuckle, taking a step in her direction when one of the larger boys walks up to her and pushes her back in a protective manner. They're not magic, they're just rare, and we shouldn't talk to strangers. I nod in agreement. He's right, on both matters. Come to think of it, you shouldn't be playing around in an open well either. We're not jumping into it. The brave little tiger puffs up his chest in annoyance. I can't help but melt at how cute his little belligerent muzzle looks. We're just throwing stones in. I hear the water slosh. I take a guess, but the entire group laughs at me as I said the darndest of things. No, silly, to make a wish. I said a lot of wishes then. I muse teasingly, to which the girl only shrugs. Alright, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!